Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CECC Valorant. I am Septilence, joined by Orbital, and we are going to be jumping into our final best of 3 here today. But before we get into all of that, Orbital, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. It's kind of cool because I'm pretty sure you're sitting right across from me on the opposite side of my room, considering our backgrounds. I mean, it's pretty pretty. I just am very, very excited. Again, I've been watching these teams kind of run through the gauntlet here. It's been an amazing day of best of 3s, and I know the teams have been playing fairly long. I know that we saw one of the teams actually go into a 2-1 status in this South 3. Very, very.
Yeah, we are. This is Cumberland University. Cumberland in here. I'm not going to say by the skin of their teeth, but in a 2-1 victory, they had to go all the way to map number 3. They won their first match, they lost their first map, Icebox, 13-5. But after that, it really kind of activated those thrusters. They really kicked it into high gear. Won Haven 13-8 and Ascent 13-6. TAMU University against Winthrop, an absolute frontrunner in this tournament so far. They were able to find a victory on Fracture 13-8 and another on Haven 13-9. So both these teams with a Haven victory, TAMU 13-9, Cumberland 13-8. So this will be really exciting as we are going to be seeing Haven in the maps chosen tonight for this grand finals as well.
Not just in the map pool. The very first map that we are playing is going to be Haven. So they're just straight up like, yeah, we're going to run it as hard as we can. But I do want to talk about TAMU kind of upsetting that bracket style, Winthrop unfortunately falling. It was not a quick 2-0 either. This was 13-8, 13-9, I believe, as you were mentioning. But this does signal that this is going to be a very, I feel, bloody matchup coming up here for TAMU Esports. This group, the TAMU Maroon group, has been dominating in some aspects, and so coming into this series, it's going to be very, very, very fun. Taking a look at Cumberland Phoenix, though, they themselves coming in as a second seed here into this South Regional Qualifier, it's been entertaining, to say the least. And the fact that they have Haven under their belt means that they're coming into this, they know TAMU also play a very strong Haven. So the fact that we see that pretty much off rip, and that was TAMU's pick, I mean, you had to sit there as Cumberland Phoenix and go, yeah, this is going to be a bloody one, at least on Haven. Other than that, we'll see what the rest peel out, but game 1 is going to be massive.
Yeah, and I think this will be super interesting as well because Pearl is our second map chosen. Neither of these teams played Pearl in their semifinal matchup. So Cumberland played Ascent, which is our decider. TAMU did not play Ascent in their semifinal. So it's like, in terms of a recency bias, maybe Cumberland has a little bit of an advantage, but both these teams have played these maps so many hundreds, if not thousands of times, that I'm not really willing to give the recency bias a whole lot of attention in that regard. But all things considered, we're seeing a lot of very powerful players from both sides. Now, TAMU, aka TAMU Maroon, as they've been referred to as before, this is a very recognizable roster. Austin Frosty is coming in that duelist role. We've got KHS, who tends to be a Sova specialist, Nabber on the breach almost always, Joba, and then Bing Chilling as well. Joba tends to play Cypher somewhat often, and then Bing Chilling, I think, has a little bit of versatility, but I think relies mostly on those smokes. And then on the other side, Cumberland University, we've got Shooter, Jet across the board, to my knowledge. Jay Fowen, who's playing a lot of things. We saw Gecko, we saw Breach, we saw KO, so there's a lot of versatility there. And then we have JP, Killjoy Specialist, Wadi, Sova Specialist, and then FSAO is how I'm going to choose to say that. If that's wrong, I'm so sorry. But FSAO playing Viper, Astra, and Omen. So Smoke City there as well. You see a lot of agent differences between these teams, but if you break it down to the roles being played, they're playing the exact same compositions.
Oh, easily, and that's understandable. When it comes to Valorant, you have your role designated. Again, some of the agent selection, as you mentioned, is a little bit different. I'm surprised that we haven't seen the likes of maybe a Deadlock or even a Vice to come out here, but I guess Vice is, again, if you take a look at Haven and the like, I think Vice is a little bit out of pocket. Everyone feels like with Haven, you've already kind of figured it out. You want to go back to what is more comfortable, so it makes sense. But if we do different glimmer there, and I do want to see these versatility because, as you mentioned, coming out of Haven, I feel one of these teams is going to feel they're a little bit behind the trend or that they need to throw down a little bit of a break. Haven is going to be that test for both ends, and as you mentioned, Shooter on that Jet, this is going to be really, really interesting because, to me, you take a look at Aussie Frosty. Aussie Frosty has, of course, played the Jet before, but when taking a look at some of these, has also played the Rays from before, as you mentioned.
Yes.
I think Shooter is going to use this as kind of a benchmark. Can I get away with the Jet? How much can I do with the Jet? And can I force Aussie Frosty off of the Jet in turn and force a different duelist to come out?
Absolutely, and I think something really interesting here as well is that both these teams are going to want to play hyper-aggressive. In the best of three, we saw TAMU versus Winthrop. Winthrop only got the spike down, I think, a total of 7 times across 2 maps entirely. So that shows that TAMU, they rush in, they play an aggressive defense, and I'm sure the offense mirrors the very same, but Cumberland, across 3 maps over Oklahoma Christian, had 225 eliminations. That, even for 3 maps, that is an absurdly high number. That is a very good performance from Oklahoma Christian versus 164 from TAMU over Winthrop. Now, again, only 2 maps, so give about 30 elims of wiggle room there to make those a little bit closer. But Oklahoma Christian being eliminated 225 times in 3 maps, that shows me that Cumberland is going to come out just guns a-blazing, quite literally, looking to play that hyper-aggressive playstyle and take the lead ASAP.
Well, either that or it takes a little bit longer, and they're actually playing a much more conservative and maybe, yes, duel heavy, but they take their time in these maps, and that's why we're seeing some of these maybe one-on-ones a little bit more. The Blood doesn't always, I feel like Blood doesn't always give way to fast-paced games. It means that they are more than willing to take the trades, but maybe there's still the macro advantage in there. I believe all their matches did go, all their games did go to the 30-minute mark, which is average, I would say, so it's not out of the world. But I am going to sit there and say, if they are going to be aggressive, great. I love aggressive. You know me, Septilence, you and I have cast before. We love aggressive here in Valorant, no matter what it is, whether from pistol or gun rounds. But I do want to see some form of restraint if it comes to a lot of these movements, especially on Haven, where you do have to worry about 3 sites. You do have to worry about A, B, and C. Granted, I believe for Cumberland, they were focused on A and C pretty much exclusively. I don't think they touched on B at all, so I'll be very curious to see how that does play out.
Yeah, things are going to find a little bit of uncertainty here. You want to play an aggressive A to C, but I think, you know, both players got the opportunity, or teams rather, to look at how their opponent's last game went. So you might be able to get a lot of reads of, oh, this team pushes heavy on C side, or they tip the scales into the A side favor. But I think it's a brand new game here. You can only learn so much, and what's on the paper never indicates what's going to be happening there in the game. So as these teams get ready to unleash, let's see who's willing to find that first blood.
Coming back.
Okay, first blood might actually be here on the A site. You can go ahead and see that KHS is just wondering exactly what's going to happen here. Great little recon, but behind the wall. But you tried to run away and he couldn't make it. So there's the first blood, and the call out from TAMU going, okay, A side hit is going to be it.
A-side hit is going to be live online, just a little bit too shy to get out there in time. We see the aftershock come through. Aussie Frosty able to tie things up 4-4, but FSAO on the off angle there does take Aussie out of the way. Now, Aussie Frosty notoriously that top damage dealer for the side of TAMU, so with Aussie taken down in the pistol round, can the remaining members of TAMU turn it around? Only one way to find out. Fault line up, Cypher down, Joba missing. Cumberland back in the lead. FSAO takes down Never. Technicality there. It's the fall damage that gets him on the way out. Big chilling, last player left alive. Smoke up. Classic in hand, 65 HP and a 1v3.
That hurts. I don't think it would have made any difference.
I agree.
Maybe it might have. I will leave that up to whoever says out there, but granted, fall damage getting that final, it feels bad. TAMU, though, they tried to bluster their way back through, and now for being chilling, you're going to go ahead, die to that spike, you're fine, you're not worried, and I love it. But Again, great entry, very controlled, and as you mentioned, heavily aggressive. Immediately, you take out KHS. KHS couldn't do anything, and you just hard sprint to the center site. I like that call. TMU, once again, going to set up an A, 1-1 on CNA. But now we get to the real deal. Cumberland, they have done so well on the C site before, on their Haven run back in the semifinals, and they're looking to do it again. 2 Bulldogs, heavy firepower. You can annihilate Joba before they can even react, and if they do, that's a lot of information taken away.
Undoubtedly so. I mean, this weaponry just goes to show that the level of aggressive they want to get with those 2 rifles that, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. That long-distance rifle in hand as well.
Guardian?
Guardian, that's the one. Thank you so much.
Was it the Guardian?
Saved my life. Yeah, the Guardian comes through. Shooter goes in early, gets the dash in the back line there, but will be taken out with a little bit of spray and pray. Joba gives their life for the cause. It's Jay Fowen with that second elimination to guarantee Cumberland that advantage in the numbers once again. Spike plant down, almost a given as Wadi finds Bing chilling. Smokes are gone. Sova and a breach approaching from the left side here. Shock dart in. Wee bit of damage on the board, but everybody still standing. Double shock dart out. Wadi finds one. Jay Fowen with another. A triple kill to wrap up round number 2, and with only 1 elimination on their side. Cumberland, really strong showing in round 2.
Yeah, Joba was able to find 1 at the very start. I believe that was even the first blood, which was great, honestly. But at the end of the day, the guns work well. You could see the entry. Cumberland were like, yeah, this is perfect for us. We know exactly how we're going to play this. We know exactly where we're going to go as well, and you cleared all your corners. Nothing was left to chance, and you're going to do it again. They love the C site, by the way. I believe planted 8 times on their attack. So I expect them to do the same here. Now, how cleanly will it go? Guns are up on the other side, so Joba might have a little bit more of a response.
Joba, I think you're going to be a little bit smarter with playstyle, too. The way that C-set was executed so flawlessly, you know they're going to try to do it again. I think that's exactly what we're going to be seeing here. Joba goes to the backside, gets taken down by a bullet to the brain, though. Shooter able to find that first elimination. Nabber goes spraying through the smoke, makes it a 4-4. Austy Frosty, my goodness! Looking nasty with that reaction time. Takes down JP and gives TAMU ever so slightly that numbers advantage, though. Austy Frosty, critical condition.
Of course, you're really looking at J-Phone, though. Has been hiding in this back corner. You're trying to make sure, or you're hoping that TMU aren't watching this cross corner in the CT side of things. But with that star down, yeah, that's going to allow for this plant. But take a look. They're going to clear out garage. I really like this call. Can Cumberland pull this off?
Or they're going to get cleared in garage. They've got to be real careful. Outside looking the wrong way. Oh, gets the elim, but Big Chilling has the slide there. The repeat, the sandbag, if you will. Wadi on the off angle.
Oh!
Wadi, my goodness, the trigger discipline makes the difference. The absolute collat finds a double, cannot react fast enough for the third, and wins the round for Cumberland in a round that really was close to being their first loss. However, 3-0 on the board, the economic expectation shattered, and Cumberland still bonusing 2 rifles.
Oh man, Wadi was like, you don't forget the name of my gun, the Guardian, man. That was a nasty tap, and it feels so bad because you could tell, Tim, you weren't expecting a second re-entry in the garage when they cleared out on C. So well timed. It was a collision of, advantages and disadvantages, and now, Tim, you losing 2 in a row. You're down on pistols, and Cumberland know this. They're going to go ahead and sprint in. It feels like A-site will be a perfect advantage. You go ahead and sprint your way in. You check the back corners. You let Shooter just rush, and it's free.
All the way into the backline. Shooter gets caught in the smoke, though. Ooh. Not even able to find one as that flash does come through, but FSAL finds the trade. Austy Frosty, both jets now missing. FSAL gives their life. Wadi finds a trade of their own to 3-2 advantage. J-Phone gives Cumberland the numbers they need to keep up success. I love the molly out of the backside there. Cannot come in through Link. J-Phone puts down Bing Chilling. And it's up to Joba to try and save the day. Cumberland coming in strong. Spike plant is down. Oh, and so is J-Foe, and trigger discipline ends well, but Wadi finds a bullet to the brain once more. Cumberland puts him down, 4-0 on the board.
And honestly, this is a huge boon to Cumberland. Cumberland are starting off strong. We mentioned on Haven, this is going to be a little bit of a check, I think, for Cumberland and TMU. We mentioned that both of them have played it with very close success rates on both ends. But I was talking about the fact that I want to see where Shooter lands. The Shooter so far is 1 in 3, not the greatest number, but Wadi and J-Phone and FSAL have been immaculate. So for TMU, you get your second gun round. Now you get a little bit of a chance. You only have the Hunter Series to work with you. So it's still an uphill battle, but your defense needs a little bit stronger, and you're stacking 1-4 and B. Cage trigger.
Oh, the spray.
Oh, what a
down in an instant. A lot of ultimates coming out really well. We do that Hunter Fury makes FSAL able to find Joba, who just can't get out of the way in time. And there we go with another one. The ultimate comes through, Bing chilling down, and Cumberland, I mean, from every angle, just dismantling TAMU before they even get the chance to defend themselves.
Oh.
Unless...
Oh!
1v1.
Oh, this is terrifying.
Oh, he's got him.
Needs to see it, and you found it! Freedom for Aussie Frosty! That was still not clean, though, Seth. That was still not clean at all.
It was better. It got better. It was a rough start, and I think Cumberland is just doing a really good job, as I mentioned, kind of being that team to go in, force their opponent to play to their momentum, and making TAMU kind of just a little uncertain on the choices they'd like to make. But as soon as TAMU took that breath, they said, okay, they're on site. They don't see me. KHS is able to find 2. It opens the door for Austin. A win is a win here, Orbital, and although that one was, you know, it leaves some room for improvement, it was a really good showing that TAMU is beginning to adapt. Hopefully, they can adapt fast enough to make this map a little closer.
Oh, 100%, and I think it really rides on Joba, who has been able to find that first blood
100%
twice now, and that free kill in the middle of the hallway was the big kicker. But now we get the rush in. Shooter looking to the left side, swings but doesn't spot Joba, so Joba's actually free to hang on inside of the smoke. That could be dangerous. Then you get collapsed on both sides. Being chilling with the judge says, "Yo, get up close and personal." Rolling Thunder to go ahead and give yourself a low forward space as Cumberland are waiting for the break around the corner as Sal says thank you very much. Only with the stinger though, so you don't lose too much. But Navar's still waiting with 4 HP, but a great clear out by Joba, as well as Aussie Frosty is keeping everyone alive.
Oh.
Aussie Frosty with the knives looking for another, but JP had a lot, but not enough in the tank, and that is Aussie Frosty to again hang on to a round.
JP gets 3, but Austin Frosty, the player that I mentioned at the very beginning of my team analyses, before we even saw them begin to play, I said Austin is the player to watch out for. Such a consistent jet player, such an amazing duelist for this team, and clearly living up to that. I mean, not on their lonesome, but has been the linchpin both times in securing these 2 rounds and cutting the lead of Cumberland in half. I'll be honest though, both rounds, a little bit of luck, a little bit of timing on their side. Let's see if TAMU can keep that up, even as Cumberland likely changes the site they're choosing to approach.
I think right now they are being challenged a little bit too hard on the C side. It's just like, okay, yeah, this is a problem. And again, you also have that Rolling Thunder on your own defensive end for TAMU, so you gotta try and find either Choba or some extras behind. So I like the default play. You found some info. I don't think you grabbed too much util, so Shooter might actually be looking towards his B side. No way.
Might get the cross here, but Naber should be ready. Ooh, gets 3-on-1, has no idea that Shooter's up close. Fault line still goes through, gets the flash. Look at the patience on this play. Nobody knows Shooter is in that corner right now. Oh, okay, now maybe.
Well, well, they might have. They might have. Never says, hey, Seth, what'd you say? No, we knew. And they clear him out so nicely. However, that is a single ult for a single player, so they desperately wanted them out. That is a huge investment. That a team you don't win this round, I'm actually going to be very, very sad to peek out. That is going to be a quick take on that util. And F-Sal finds the freebie shot with the Sheriff. Great shot down. You get another star to help out, but you're going to have to rotate. Spike is all the way back in T-spawn, and maybe you're looking towards that A site instead. You haven't heard too much movement, and you're down to your last 25 seconds.
Yeah, and see, now this is going to be interesting because Aussie Frosty is the one that has gone down, the player that was able to clutch out both of the rounds they were able to find victories on. But now that Austie's missing, can we find that same success for TAMU, or is this going to be a round loss? The lead continues to grow with only 11 seconds left. They rush into sight. KHS misses the shot. JP finds it. That could be disastrous. Bing chilling in the far corner. Brings out the judge. Doesn't even get the healing. Excuse me? Oh, Spike Plant down. 3rd time's the charm. It's up to Joba. Do you be the hero, or do you bonus the rifle as your team is staring a loss in the face? F-Sal finds it with the judge, becomes the jury and executioner, puts Cumberland's 5th round win on the board. I really would have liked to see that rifle bonus. I'm not going to lie.
Well, it was a judge. Well, no, it wasn't judge. You are
right. No, he had a rifle.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you. At the same time, I think the information was granted that they were low. You took a look across the board for Cumberland. I think all of them were sitting below 30 HP, and that was called out by teammates if you did the math. I think you had an okay chance. However, huge play by S-Sal. S-Sal has been running kind of this front runner and to be able to help out, especially with the plans going down. Huge play by them with the judge, being able to secure that round. And now TAMU, once again, in a dangerous position. But you do have guns out, so Aussie Frosty's going to try and make magic happen.
Aussie Frosty, just such a powerhouse for Texas A&M University. Bing chilling has that sewer kind of at the ready. They want to go through. I wouldn't hate to see an aggressive push up through a long, but they're going to try to be patient. Drone out, gets flashed, in for a bit of a surprise as Bing tries to wide swing. A little bit of damage, but nothing really too crazy. No real team clear abilities here either, other than those shock darts. So if they choose to rush in through A, it could be a wee bit unlucky for our friends at
You
TAMU.
should run.
Here we go.
Okay. It's a nice call, but is it going to be fully utilized? You haven't heard too much use in expenditure to try to take it down. So you can assume that everyone is going to be safe. Now the question is, how much are you going to get? Shooter jumps out with the last 2 seconds, able to find KHS, and then finds Aussie Farsi as well at the front. What is going on here? Cumberland are looking immaculate right now, star or not. The star powers and Shooter put the capital at the end as that's the ace for the Jet themselves.
I mean, listen, Cumberland, you gotta win now. listen, you ace like that in round 8 of the first map. You have clearly sent a statement. And I mean, it's one Jet just saying to another, look, we've still got it in the pocket. Shooter, a bit quiet so far. 5 elims in that last round, 6 total. And we're 8 rounds in. So Shooter having a bit of a rough start, but clearly getting warmed up, getting the read on TAMU with some great utility assists from the team. Was able to find that ace early, put Cumberland's 6th round win up. And now Orbital, the bad news for TAMU is they could win every single round for the rest of this half, and it'll just be a tie.
That is uncomfortable to say the least. That's 2 are on the board. Joe
Oh!
has had such a great gamble read. The luck is in the air. I don't know what it is, but that is the second time Joba has free fired down that C-long hall.
It might be the
got
third.
a kill through smoke. Is that third? No way.
It
it's third.
might. I'm not positive, but I think that is the 3rd time.
No. First one you had some inkling. I think you were falling bullet traces. The second one though, that first one that I saw was like for real, and that one as well. So I think it's only 2. I don't give 3. No way he pulled off 3.
I'll go back. I'll watch Javad on the break, and we'll see. We'll see. Because I feel like it's almost becoming familiar at this point. Like it's something I've seen a couple of times. But we see TAMU 4-player advantage here. Oh, check your corners. Oh, you see the gun. You spray. You pray. Oh, the reload puts it away though. Devastating play. Big Chilling able to get theirs at least. You can say, hey, I got mine. Gaia Vandal with Shooter's hands. Best Vandal skin in the game. Finds Nabber. Oh, dash in to the frame there. KHS finds it. 2v1. Can Wadi pull this off? He's stepping loud, but I don't think they knew he was there otherwise. They know.
Yeah.
Kind of gave himself away.
Yeah, that was the thing. If he had walked, I think that would have been a free kill. But at the end of the day, it was a 1-2 position, and either way, it was going to be tough. So it was a weird round as well. A little bit of hard sprint into the B, and then things just kind of went chaotic, and it actually gave a lot of value over to TAMU, I think, where Aussie Frosty and KHS were both able to kind of swing hard. And whenever it gets to these tight corridors, Cumberland seemed to lose a little bit of steam there. Big chance again, Joba finding that free kill down that C-long, and it's only going to happen again. So I really do wonder when Cumberland are just like, yeah, let's not test the luck of Joba right now.
Dart goes out, gets taken down, gives away the approach anyway, right? You know somebody's at least looking at C for the time being. Oh, nobody looking at B, though, as Aussie's eyes have ever so graciously been removed from his head by Shooter. Cumberland 5-4 on the board. Bladestorm in the pocket. You've got Hunter's Fury and From the Shadows up for TAMU. The repositioning very likely if they choose to do so. But they're going to reposition on foot here as they try to guess that Cumberland is going to go for an A hit, which they'd be right.
It is going to be the A side, and the question is how much resistance are you actually going to put up there? And it looks like a lot, actually. You lost one in the early stages, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. And this is a full 3, lined up and ready to go. Set down a start, let the Jet rush, and you are going to dash on in. The KHS was waiting in the corner. Shooter, I don't think, looked that way, so KHS gets such a freebie, and even more Nabber able to follow up behind, but JP said, yo, that's free, and now you get to sprint back because you didn't send your spike planter, and you have plenty of time to reach that C side. JP going to try and run interference. We're going to see a meeting between them and Nabber, and that could be huge. Peak 1, peak 2, peak 3, peak 4, sees the body, fires, misses, runs back to the team.
Oh my goodness, just patience incarnate there, trying to be slow and steady. Spike plant down, the Hunter's Fury just too little too late. I don't even think it got damaged, no. All 3 players still up. This, I'll be honest, this should be Cumberland's round to win. This is a tough one to lose. They've got the KJ set up, they've got the numbers advantage, they've got the spike plant down. TAMU, I mean, they've got very little time to try and make this happen.
And
there's the intel. There's the flash. No swarm. They don't need it. And there it is. The double kill through. Cumberland 7th round win.
Yep, you called it immediately. You take a look at the agents on the board for TAMU at that time. unless you land 3 headshots like very, very quickly,
Straight up,
it's not going to go in your favor. So TMU did what they could. We give credit where credit is due. They tried their best. They were able to force a rotate out of that A side defense, but it didn't go perfectly. So Cumberland, they're very comfortable on this map so far, have a very extended lead. And if they win these next 2, yeah, it might be a curse, but at the same time, you put 6 rounds difference in there. And on the defensive, I'm very curious because even in the previous matches, Cumberland looked comfortable on their attack. I haven't seen fully on their defense, so maybe that's a little different.
The defense for TAMU, I feel like their team composition is slightly defense-sided, which makes me a little worried that this is the defense, and we are seeing kind of these round losses against them, but you never know. People play Cypher a wee bit more aggressively than they did when I was grinding this game out like I used to, so perhaps TAMU has a couple of tricks up their sleeve that are unfamiliar even to myself, but right now, Cumberland, every round they win right now, essentially extra credit in terms of increasing their lead that much further. Austin Frosty gets the bullet down, but it is going to be a trade into window there. The triple swing takes him down, but look at the bloodbath on either side. At the end of it, Cumberland still up by a player. Devastating.
It is, but at least you got a little bit more information and intel. Maybe you can use that. Maybe you can use the Cypher a bit. And you are looking for a flank. Take a look at how Cumberland are moving a little bit slower. They're not comfortable walking into the site just yet. And that's giving time for TAMU to actually rotate over. So Cumberland, they're playing it smart, they're playing it safe, but they're getting a couple stars down, and they are going to activate, take out that heaven side, which is actually the right call, because we did see one walk up there. But Joba, what can you do here? You're actually zoned out.
That's really unlucky. Joba has to play from a distance. Luckily takes JP down, so a lot of utility off the board here. 2-2 and ultimate alive on both sides. Neural Theft, low-key could go crazy here, but you need the body to throw it on. If Owen knows somebody's in the heavens, gonna eat the flash. Send out the rolling thunder to try and deter this team from approaching. FSAL finds one. They know the last is in heaven. And now J Fowen has that angle. Oh, beautiful. The bait is executed. They bite the hook. They get pulled out of the water. And Cumberland finds their 8th round win here in the first half.
Clean work. That is all we can say right now, I think. This is, I mean, Shooter, by the way, you mentioned that ace. Shooter had only 1 kill in the opening, all the way up till the 8th. Yep. That was, for 7 rounds, all you had was 1. And yet, even with the ace, you're barely behind J-Phone and SL, who have been putting on a show. This is showing how comfortable the entire team is at carrying. And I'm amazed TMU haven't opted for a timeout. I'm really, really curious. And at this point, obviously, I don't think calling a timeout here would make any difference. So you just play out the last round as best you can.
Yep. You play with what you have right here. You maybe use that pistol round as almost a pseudo timeout if you'd like. Now, you do have a timeout per half, and I'm a little disappointed we haven't seen TAMU use it to just either slow down Cumberland's aggression or just kind of approach the matchup a little bit slower, kind of rethink their approach. But regardless, it's not like they're getting demolished here. There's a little bit of a difference, but it's only 8-3 at the end of the day. We've got the entire second half left to be played, and as this approach comes out, it's going to be put down just as quickly. Bing Chilling able to find one. For the first time since round 4, we're seeing TAMU with a 5-3 player advantage. This round should be theirs to win, looking back at how they treated that last one.
We said that a few times, though.
That's true. I mean, I've said that
Grayson,
about Cumberland, and I've been right all time to the one.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, you've been right almost every single time, so I can't blame you for it. But we have seen Cumberland do a lot of work, but there it is. Great shot by Bing Chilling, just showing on the back end. Of course, this is going to be that difference. J-Phone on 30 HP. And Shoba's just like, hey, I found a freebie. Thank you very much. As you called Septilence, you psychic man. It is going to be all in the hands of TAMU, so it's not going to be the curse. It's a big 4-round difference, which is kind of crazy to think about. TAMU are going to have a very long walk back up if they are going to try and take this game number 1. Wody, though, is making this one a little bit longer than probably anyone is comfortable with. Yeah, they go ahead and convert on in. Opti Frosty continues to dominate at the top of the leaderboard.
Oh man, and had no idea they were being pinched out from defender spawn, by the way. So that was going to be a very tough one to try and win out, but unfortunately just not able to find it. Now going into the second half, it's 8-4 on the board. 8 rounds for Cumberland in that first half. TAMU able to find half of that. A much better performance than the first 6 rounds showed us it may be. So a good showing from them regardless. But this pistol round, it's not going to make or break this series for either team. But I do think if we see Cumberland win this, that could kind of spell out this map ending in their favor. But if TAMU can win it, they can flip the script, even put us into a 6-8 scenario. I'm far from ready to count them out.
You did mention that this map is going to be a very dangerous one, I think, on either end. And as you said, that pistol is going to call a lot of the action here. But I love the setup. Cumberland already prepped for a B mid kind of angle here, but TAMU going a much safer route. A short, but allowing the center to be taken here could be dangerous. And Joba, once again, running up the back end, saying, hey, I hear footsteps, I hear a little bit of util. Trying back away, shots ring out, and Joba saw the shoulder, just waiting for the head, and that's the call. Hard sprint in as TMU take control of this A site. This time, F-Sal is able to find Joba back, so it's a 4v4. Who is going to find who, though, inside of this retake?
Spike plant down, 400 additional credits going into the next round. A very exciting prospect for TAMU, especially if they win this round, but winning it is still a dream far away. We're tied up. We'll have to have that sonar dart back online if they choose to use it from Heaven. KHS has the shoulder read, gets the flick, and takes JP down early. Aussie Frosty 20 HP on the low side here, gets flashed out. The jump is in from Jay Fowen, finds a double Wadi with a third. KHS on a triple kill of their own, but it's Jay Fowen that puts him down. Cumberland, by the skin of their teeth, able to emerge victorious on the second pistol round of Haven.
That's all they need, though. That's all they want, and that's all they need. And as you mentioned, taking away that chance means Cumberland is pretty dang close to a double digits. And I wouldn't be surprised here, honestly, if TMU wanted to spring for like a single rifle if they could, but I don't even think they have the money for it, even though they got 4.
They don't.
They are going to spring for a stinger. Okay, they are going a stinger rush, and this is what I was kind of wondering, because if you lose out here, either way, you're probably going to go to map point. That's kind of what I'm looking at here. So it's like, it's going to be tough either way. So you go ahead, stinger rush, see what happens, and maybe get a little bit of a surprise on Cumberland.
Shooter on the Outlaw here. I mean, living up to the name, I love the Outlaw. One of my favorite guns. I love that they added it to the round arsenal, but gotta really get some value with it to show our fans at home how cool that rifle can be. 9-4 on the board. Cumberland, weapons advantage, round advantage, mentality advantage at a time like this. But TAMU, the slow approach through sewers into A site, and hopefully they're not going to need some help sewers, as 2 players, now 3, are getting ready to play the defense. Fault line out, sewers wide open, the rush is in, 1 flash available. F-Sal puts it on a gravity well of their own, gets a double. Nope, did I see the future? No, I didn't. They get taken down. They give their play. Joba finds one of their own. 3-2 for TAMU. Spike plant down again, showing consistency in the spike plant.
And not just that, with the stinger rush, as I mentioned, they were able to find more than enough. And Shooter is now actually stuck, as you mentioned, on the Outlaw. It's not great.
You save it.
You don't enjoy this. Yeah, you don't enjoy any of those fights. And no one was really touched. You talk about how much damage, and I mentioned before, TMU, if you want to make this round and this half your own, you got to pull something off. Come rush at all. They were caught by surprise. They were able to. I mean, it feels like they were a little bit more pressed up. They were expecting that result. So, very well done on TAMU's side. You give yourself a breath of fresh air. Cumberland at all coming into this next one. I mean, you have the Outlaw, as you said, but multiple members sitting at 0'd out. So, save it up. Once again, TAMU had given themselves a little bit of an extra breath. And you're looking into, a little extra in the back pocket. So, I'm excited to see what the round after this one will bring.
Agreed. I think this round is going to be really interesting, because if you're TAMU, you have to have the discussion of, do we keep the stingers and kind of help our economy going into the next round, or do we continue? Now, clearly, the weapons they've chose have answered that question for us, and it's on that Cumberland going to be going for what I like to call the buddy system. They keep that Outlaw in somebody's hand. They're going to send somebody weaponless with them. Shooter may be able to find, but it's going to be a tough one, especially if they choose to approach this C site on the side of TAMU. Unbeknownst to them, team ready and waiting. Shooter up through sewers already, looking for an elimination.
That'd be chaotic to get one there. You can see TAMU not falling for that bait. They're saying, okay, go ahead and play this one nice and slow. F-Sal, though. This is a kind of crazy one. Trying to pull a Joba here. But the call is, yeah, we don't want to test that long hallway. That'll give the easiest kind of pinpoint accuracy. So let's regroup. Let's play this one a little bit smarter. No sound really being made over on the A side. Is this going to be an A side rush from TAMU? That would be, with almost no info, would be a little bit gung-ho.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering as well. We see the team bodying up toward the A site, possibly just through A long. I think the sewer approach twice is a little too predictable, so they're going to try to take it the slow style. But everybody better slow step, because unbeknownst to them, Shooter is just on the other side of that wall. A single misstep could give a lot of intel away. Wadi trying to cover it with the sheriff. But I mean, the weapons disruption here is what I'm really afraid of, and there's a perfect example as to why. Take over fire fast enough. Wadi able to find 1, big chilling with one of their own. 2, Joba takes down Shooter, and I don't think we've got the weapons in the arsenal. TAMU 6th round on the board, not to be 6-9.
Very, very nicely done. And keep in mind that these rounds do have a little bit of an asterisk beside it. You know, Cumberland, outside of that, outside of the second year and a half, they really haven't had the guns. So the fact that we are seeing that reach back up by TAMU is great. But when Cumberland get the weaponry in hand, I will be curious to see if this does change the metric.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the shorty and you're like, yeah, they don't really have that much to play with. TAMU, what they were really hoping for is not just a round victory. That was almost a given. It's to keep the weapons in hand, and you made monumental bounds there. You now to the side, Joba can go ahead and buy on up, maybe, or maybe with the help of a teammate. But you have set yourselves up greatly for the coming fourth, and hopefully getting another one in there. As, yeah, JP goes ahead, goes down, doesn't give anything over, but it will be a comfortable buy up for the side of Cumberland this time around.
I always tell my students at a time like that exactly what you said, Orbital. It's not about winning the round if they have the weapons advantage. It's not about having weapons as good. It's about taking them out of their hands as effectively as you can. Getting 3+ eliminations is how you make a round expensive, and that's the goal at a time like that. Unfortunately, CU wasn't able to find that advantage they were looking for, but officially, those weapons are back online. We've got rifles across the board here for our Outlaw in the hands of Joba. Let's see if they're going to be able to use it a bit better than Shooter was.
A little bit of a wait. Info. Recon goes out. Nothing's really given. Shooter setting up very, very close. Might get found out. And they do. Being chilling. Great shot. And that is, again, the catch on Shooter, who we said had the ace earlier. But other than that, hasn't really shown any sort of light. And then the rest of the team really setting up JP, giving away their position as they have to take out that Owl Drone. And now it's a long-range shot as J-Phone phones in a friend and finds Austy Frosty lurking. 4v4 now. It's an A-side rush.
Back to the A side. If it ain't broke, there's no need to fix it. The pixel available all the same for Mabber. Wants to find Smash with the Tremor early. Sends out the aftershock. But unfortunately, nobody really found out the back of it. He's not in elimination in pocket. Spike plant down again. Consistency continues to shine as they find this additional 400 credits going into the next round. This time it's a 4-4. Cumberland not only racing their opponents at TAMU, now racing the clock all the same. It's bounty time. J-Phone finds Big showing off the back of it. Hunter's Fury is looking for some time to show up, but unfortunately just cannot show out any additional.
Out to that heaven side. Tacked a little damage, and Nabber was able to fire away. Freebie on 2. And that's gonna this re-entry ain't looking good. Nabber is allowed 3. That feels illegal. And just like that, that's J-Phone trying to run away, but Nabber says, nah, you're having this face-to-face talk. TAMU crush the fourth and put themselves within 2.
Now yeah, okay, this time that makes a lot of sense because it's when you lose a couple of rounds like that. That's not that the other rounds didn't matter, but that's the first round that mattered because that's the first round everybody has rifles on the board. We are officially on a level playing ground. It's about which one of these teams comes through to win that full rifle game. And Nabber, it's not even TAMU, it's Nabber that gets away with this. Just finds a quadruple kill in a pivotal round, as you said, Orbital, puts us within 2 of their opponents. And now Cumberland, I think, going to be clutching their pearls a little bit. They're a little nervous, their economy is shattered, and TAMU, most likely going to win this round, separates them by 1 in a game that was separated by 4 at one point.
I also feel this timeout is something to say, hey, you guys need to calm down a little bit, because Nabber's in the hell side, I don't think should have ever been allowed more than like a kill or 2. When you have that type of info, when you have that type of read, I feel like it should have been much more viable to find that kill, but Nabber's getting away with 3 feels like robbery. So for Cumberland, it might be a call of, hey, take a breath. Go ahead, go back. We're in the lead still. It's not like things are tied up. It's not like you haven't still reached a very comfortable point if you win a round back. It might take a little bit longer now that you dropped the ball a bit, but it's not completely out of their hands just yet. TAMU had already used a little bit of that Hunter's Fury. It's now down to 0. Nabber's the only one with an ult on that side, and it will be answered on the other side by J-Phone, who also has that Rolling Thunder. So if we're looking at an entry by TAMU, a re-entry by Cumberland with that Rolling Thunder could be very well.
Okay, talk about hyper-aggression here. Drain perhaps. It's not going to cost you anything crazy at a time like this. Not a single opponent to be seen on either side thus far. Nobody has seen each other. They know there's a little bit of a dance around B side, but the rest is a mystery. Big Shoot with our possible first blood on the board. Gets a couple of bullets to the toes there. Did not take them down. quite yet. Joba, however, on the opposing side, finds two up through mid, rips that B site wide open. We may be getting our first B site plant of the game thus far. We are now guaranteed going to, as TAMU has a 5-2 advantage. They're going to make this within one.
That is JP trying to clear up the back end, and as you said, get as close as possible, but KHS found JP lurking a bit, and the last one is FSAL. I mean, all you got's a pistol, but I think the main thing that we want to mention is TAMU were able to gather charges in there. I believe one of them was on the Cypher, so that's a huge one going into the next. If you get that first blood, which I think TAMU have been able to find for a majority share of the second half, that could play a crucial role in actually being able to tie up against Cumberland. SSAL, I mean, you're waiting, you're hoping to get this done. We're able to find one more, but at this point, it's just save the rifle.
That scared me, and I knew he was there. A bit of a jump scare on that one. It's going to be finally taken down, not able to bonus that rifle. TAMU, they win the round, and they make it expensive for Cumberland again, and they put us within one here on Haven. This round, they're going to have the rifle advantage again here for this round, or at least the utility advantage. It might be full rifle. Their utility will be hurt on the side of Cumberland.
Let's see how well this is gonna go. I am very curious because this is the make or break round. You just had a timeout. You just had a round loss. Obviously, it wasn't really gonna go your way. This one is gonna be chaotic though. You had the Cosmic Divide, which you have used before to create a big advantage, but it's gonna be a test. This is gonna be a little bit of a ricochet. KHS sending it straight over to the A site.
Oh my goodness!
And I think it might be able to ping out. Yeah, you actually were. But Wody sends one back, and KHS didn't have one in response. That is the answer that you need to a bounce like that.
That was just an amazing show up there. One play at a time here. Aussie puts down one with the help of Joba there. We hear the Neural Theft make an appearance. 4-4 on the board. Rolling Thunder up to the A site. Just the most popular site in school right now. This A site over and over and over. And it continues to work in TAMU's favor. They've got site advantage. They've forced Cumberland into a retake. They know somebody is up there. Aussie Frosty just waiting to put that bullet through.
I think a huge part is Aussie Frosty actually got away because they were in Hell's side. Now they're going to lean back into that smoke. Great neural that we use as well. All the information that Wody means Joba's last one alive. Hard spray again because you saw the head, and Wody needs to clean this one out. Wait, here's the running footsteps. And gets first half and second now. We are tied at 9-9.
Joba with the 3K there. Cumberland doing nearly everything right to take the numbers, but TAMU just ripping them away. And I mean, check out this scoreboard right now. 16 to 18, 16 to 14, 14 to 13, 11 to 10, and 10 to 9. Just one or two away in every single slot. Here as we go into round, oh man, I should have picked a different round and tossed the number out. 19 on the board here. This is as close could possibly be, and I really believe whoever wins this round should be the winners of our first map Haven.
I'm the fact that we are here and Cumberland don't have a way to kind of reset their mental again. This is going to be rough. TAMU have been on a tear. And JP sitting here. This is the quietest we have seen TAMU this entire time in this half. They have sat here, just waited, and are trying to bait Cumberland into a dangerous spot. And KHS might find it here. F South steps in. Slow Walk is about to meet their doom. Tap one. At least you'll take it.
The name of the game here. It's going to be a 1-to-1 trade, which is good for Cumberland at a time like this because they have that weapons disadvantage. They want to play it slow and steady to try and win the race, but they're definitely running out of time to do so. Big Chilling gets the intel that somebody's boxed in this site. Not quite wide open, but with a little less pressure on the board. The flash into garage. Shooter able to stay out of the way. Blind goes out. Cyber once again in a hyper. Corner again, 10-second left. Plant has to go down right now. And they're going to be able to get it with no contest on the board. J4 gives their life, and TAMU getting ready to take the lead here on Haven.
This is wild to think about. 8-4 was the start. A single round only has been given. That was all the way at the beginning. It was a very close pistol. And yet, since there, it has been a streak and a half shooter. I mean, unless you can deke out 4 like you did earlier, I don't see this going your way. TMU looking strong here, as that is now a grand total of 6 rounds in a row to reach the double digits.
I mean, it has just been their half through and through. We've got another timeout happening here as Cumberland really got to try to figure things out. The lead has been taken away from them for the first time this map in round 19. Only 3 rounds left for TAMU to walk away with a victory here, and I'm hopeful that they're going to be able to do this. I said I believe whoever won that round is going to be able to win the map, and Cumberland right now a phenomenal lead on the defense, but on the offense, but the defense really just not leaning in their favor.
I'm sitting here going, okay, how are you going to play this one out? How is this going to work? This is going to be such a test being run up on you. You have been denied at every turn. I think you've had a fast push and a slow push, but this gun round is the round that you need to win to get back in favor. We need to see some extra, I honestly don't know. I feel like TMU has had every corner routed. So it's just like, hey, you got to get things under control. You got to have a fight back. Shooter and JP, both of them hoping to step up here. But J-Phone at 18, 12, and 8 is like, come on, guys. Let's go. We got this. We can still fight this one out.
We've got all rifles on the board. Shooter currently nothing in the hand, and I'm wondering if they're going to try to get Blade Storm here. They're still down by 2, so grabbing the Ult Orb still keeps you down by 1. No, they go ahead, they grab that Vandal, and they try to put themselves back into a potential winner's seat here, or at least tie things up. But if TAMU wins this one, I'm already on kind of a TAMU boat for the time being. I do think they're going to be able to walk away with this Haven victory, but Cumberland, they lost map number 1 in their last series, and they took it all the way to 3, so they're no stranger to a scenario like this either.
Right now, it's just a wee bit of a slow pacing. You can go ahead and see TAMU after that timeout. They're making sure they aren't going to be surprised at all. Completely denying the A site once again. Trying to bait out a little bit more. JP, though, with the Odin in hand, I think has an inkling that there's at least 1 or 2 in the garage, and now backing away thanks to those smokes as well as some of the darts. And then a little bit of a boom. That'll be the wall, but FSAL was able to find Nazi Frosty. It took him a little bit of time, but FSAL holding it down here with that Vandal. Gets a 3K. Nabber goes, how the heck did we lose that one? As FSAL in the back corners on a 4K. What did they just say? Make it an ace! Matching Shooter and Cumberland tie it back up.
FSAL hits the Thanos, I'll do it myself. An absolute 5K on the board here. Cumberland able to tie things up 10-10. Now, if both these teams hit 12 or higher, we go into overtime for our first map, and they all know that, obviously. So they really want to try and make this happen early so they can avoid the overtime, they can win in tradition, and they can move us into map number 2. Also, congratulations, FSAL, first player in lobby to hit 20 eliminations on the board.
That's what they needed. That's why they wanted the ace. They're like, please, please, let me bounce over J-Phone and all. And they leapfrog their way forward. TAMU still have guns. They run the place, and they've been so comfortable so far. One round getting shocked a little bit. One that big an issue is Aussie Frosty annihilates Shooter with a knife straight through the body. And that is rough to think about. We talked about the fact that, you know, Shooter will use this as a little bit. Aussie is already showing that they are very comfortable on this jet, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, whether we go to a game 2 or game 3. TAMU, though, very, very patient. Don't want to give over too much, even with first blood.
You never want to give too much away. Because you lose a player in the first, 5 seconds of the match, it can really begin to spell disaster. Now, Joba has taken that disadvantage and doubled it, taking the breach out of the way. Wadi trying to hold down sight by themselves. The smoke goes up actually to protect them. They jump in the open smoke, they dive right back out, they find one, they give their life for the cause, and now it's a 4-2 advantage for TAMU. Shock dart through, FSAL in. You dropped 5 in the previous round, you want to do it again. I'd love to see a reload on this rifle, though. Only 13 bullets in the chamber. Joba crit. Checking the wrong corner here. Risky play to drop that star. Wow! Joba down and out. Another one in the smoke. They find it with the help of JP, and all of a sudden,
oh my God,
the tides have been turned. Only 6 bullets in the chamber. The wide approach out. KHS tries to find it, finds them both, and puts the clutch down for TAMU. 11-10 for TAMU. 2 to go.
6 HP. I want to point that out. KHS had 6 at the end. So granted, the jump by FSAL and JP, I think, was correct. But dang, was that close. KHS, like, thank God for the rest of my team being able to lay down some of that extra damage. And now we're still looking at TMU taking that lead at 11. If you win one more, I don't know if the guns are going to be in hand for Cumberland. So this is a huge one. TMU, they finally stole the Thunder back, and they're saying, please, don't go to an OT. Let's just win this map out. Great little rift to go ahead and slow down the majority share, and that allows Shooter to get around the corner. Great on multiple, and now you can see the body out. Swings a shot, but misses.
Oh, goodness. Caught you in the back there. Big Chilling getting a couple of bullets to the spinal column. Joba takes Shooter out of the equation. 4-4 on the board again, and a neural theft up. A huge advantage for TAMU. They're going to get the intel they need. A site a little populated here. Perhaps we consider a rotation. I'm going to guess all the way to the C. Yep.
I can just... The call is wonderful by you, but JP at least reads it, and you can see finally we're seeing the movement. All three members that were off site by Cumberland are like, okay, we gotta rotate over. Can they try and hold down this garage side as well?
Yeah.
So no resistance for TMU as they enter. They are gonna meet some more after. Aussie Frosty though, running interference could be big. He's a couple, but no shot available. So FSAL takes the light.
I'm confused. He didn't see JP. Unless JP was through the wall and I was just wrong, but that, I mean, that's very likely. We see the aggression coming in quick. We see the lockdown pop up on Garage. They're going to have to rush in quick. South finds one. Never gets the trade at the very least. The lockdown is destroyed. This is going to be big. They go for the defuse, get bounced off of it. Critical condition, Astra in the corner. You got to get the read. They don't find it. And Cumberland, 11-11. If they both win one more round, we have to go into overtime.
That's going to be chaotic to say the least. It's going to be absolute hell for both these squads that have already been battling through a hefty amount of CO3s. And, I mean, you take a look, J-Phone reaching 20, FSAL 24, Joba reaching 20. Every single player fighting as hard as they can. And I'm sitting here going, for TMU, we may want to stop taking the slow path. I feel like they've taken the slow route about 3 of the 4 rounds recently. They need to get a little bit faster pace. They need to bring back a lot of that fire as Cumberland are starting to come into their own comfortability level. They're even lining up 2 over there on the A-long site. And this might be dangerous. Being Chilling, trying to get a swap in. And this is going to be a chaos. That's going to be a run. Hunter Seer coming out. KHS barely gets any damage down.
No ultimates except for a single storm that's already been popped and gets nothing off the back. You got a wide swing off the drone. You find one. You know the Soba's tucked in the corner. It's going to be a 1-1 trade. The duelist missing on both sides now. So everybody going to have to play a little slower or fill up that missing roll. Rolling Thunder into the sewers. You get the damage. You get the shock. You get the corner clear. But, dog, you've got 10 HP. No way!
Oh. Lives through. And we're down to a 2v2. Joba waiting for an edge, sends down that cage, and is going to be able to grab that spike and hustle it back, but that gives time. Take a look over in Heaven's side. Speed Dangerous, Naber setting up with a star, and they're going to wait for it to fall before they enter. I am curious. You can see FSAL on the back end, just like, hey, let me place another star. Let me be a little quiet with this one. Yeah, you don't have any other route. You already know that it's going to be an ace I hit either way, so it's going to be a bit weird here. 25 seconds left, and we finally get to see that plant go down.
I need us pulling them in.
FSAL has the Heavens. Gravity well goes up. He did it so fast, I didn't get to see where the well was. I think it was just default. Yeah, okay.
Obscuring vision.
That's not where the spike is, though. Unbeknownst to him, of course. Oh, do it. Do it.
Oh, this is the gun.
Yes!
Oh,
Beautiful.
that's 3.
Able to find the pick onto FSAL there. I was actually hoping for a knife, but I'll take the Elim regardless. I'm not sure there's much JP can do here with a bulldog in hand. You've got to hit some banger shots at a time like this. Should go for the fake. Yep, there's the flash. You get at least half, or you try to. No way. No way. No way.
No.
Oh,
my gosh.
Joba able to find it seconds away. Pros don't fake, and they tried not to, but unfortunately, they get found out at a pivotal moment just like that. And now, TAMU 1 round away, an economic advantage pretty heftily in their favor. They've just got to do this one more time, and this map is theirs. Which is good, because this was their map pick at the end of the day.
It was their map pick, and yet we're going almost all the way to OT. I'm terrified right now. This is going to be a full-on, full throttle mess of a round. I think Wody with the Hunter Series ready to go. This is going to be, hey, where do I want to set up? Where do I want to fire? As soon as we get info and an inkling of where they're at, I'm going to fire away. That is what we need to hold down. Quick stream, information, and a scan. Might be able to snipe one out, and it looks like you got him. So Joba's down. Joba's already down, and you get a tag on 2 more. Great job by Wody. And Tim, you're lost a little bit now.
Yeah, Util City on that one. My goodness. Tam, that they've come back a couple of rounds with a 1-player deficit. It's going to be a little bit tougher when you know this much utility's been dedicated into the B site. Wadi rotates through B link, or A link, excuse me, toward A. The smoke falls. Nobody's waiting. They're all rotating off. B site actually wide open. Oh, no. A slow return from Breach. KHS, don't fall off that angle, my friend. Gets a lot of damage out. The fault line is through. The shock dart in the back pocket. 16 HP. Regenerative shield not going to be able to keep you alive at a time like that. One of their own. It's not going to be a 3-3 on the board. Wadi gives their life for the cause. It's only a 1-player advantage, and the ace players themselves are the last 2 left alive for Cumberland. Oh, he's got this. Nope.
Had to quickly recant on that one, and unfortunately that leaves us out a little bit lost because you went up in the star and you are gone. So, yep. TAMU go ahead and place themselves with the win, with a chaotic win, 13-11, man.
13-11 on their map pick, and we're going to go ahead and throw it to a pretty quick break because that map went so long. We want to try to get to map number 2. That's going to be Cumberland's pick, the map Pearl. We're going to see how that ends up in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the CECC South Regional Valorant Grand Finals. I'm still Succulents, joined by Orbital, and we're going to be jumping into map number 2, Pearl. This time it's going to be the map pick of Cumberland themselves. They lose TAMU's map pick Haven in a 13-11 bout. They're probably hoping this map can be a little more one-sided in their favor.
They are hoping so, and I don't think anyone ever wants to drop down into like a possible situation that they were in before. Because, let's be honest, if I'm looking at TAMU, I'm like, we got away with absolute daylight robbery. You had 2 aces against you. You had a couple rounds that just did not go your way. All the luck was against you the entire time, I feel like, throughout the entirety of the game. And yet you scrape on by, you force your way through in multiple rounds to take the victory. And it felt like they were far more comfortable on the attack than defense, which makes sense. Both these teams felt very aggressive, and even for the side of Cumberland, they let things get out of control. Even with the timeouts available, they still got run over to an extent. Now, will that happen again? I have no idea, because Pearl, to me, is a little bit more broken into, which either alleviates into like a one-sided attack, B-side rush for about 12 rounds, or we get a little bit of mixture in the mid. So I am curious to see if both teams have played this map quite often, which I'm sure they have, but what is their preferred angle of attack?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, right? And also, you've got a 50-50 instead of a 33% chance on which side's going to be attacked. We've only got the 2 sites available. B side, of course, has that insanely long open corridor. It's a little harder to rush down that with the play style that we see from both teams. They love to kind of go for the stinger flash through sewer is a good example. You can't really do that on the B side unless you go up through mid, and that's its own entire duel itself. So there's a lot of opportunities for both these teams to really shake up their play styles, but also an extent to they have to. They're not going to be able to play a lot of the same compositions or a lot of the same styles of play they brought to the table on Haven. Hopefully they're going to be able to adapt here on Pearl, but you don't pick a map you're not good at. So I'm excited to see what Cumberland's strategy is going to be going into this.
Yeah, I would. I mentioned that I would like to see the Vise. Now, granted, I don't know if Vise is perfect in here. I do believe the Thorns would cover a majority share of each site, but it can lock off a lot of entry corridors. So that's why I mentioned that I would like to see the Vise here, and I've seen it utilized fairly well. The trip wall as well is amazing, to say the least. But I am curious to see exactly what they're going to play for and how they're going to play it. Again, both these teams do seem to favor very traditional agent compositions. So, again, if you wish to basically run back kind of the same, I would agree. And even then, Astra is an amazing agent on this map. I feel like you're able to pretty much corridor off that B side, as we were mentioning before. That straight line access becomes very, very narrow and very short if you have a 2-star pattern now.
Yeah, and already Bing Chilling going to be locking into the Astra. I assume FSAL going to be doing the same. So these players on the very same wavelength as you in that regard, Orbital. They want to bring that Astra to the table. And also, okay, get a little bit of Teo on the matchup as well. Fade and Yoru being brought to the table. KO making an appearance. So a lot of agent swaps, as predicted. I said a lot of the agents we saw in Haven, not exactly viable here. And by golly, do the teams agree with me on that statement. We've got almost entire roster swaps here.
Yeah, but Cumberland, remember we mentioned Cumberland really do feel like those one-trick style, and they are bringing it back. So as much as they brought in the KO and the Fade, as you mentioned, we still see the Jet, we still see that Astra, and possibly the KJ. So if JP runs the KJ again, I'm not going to be upset. I like
Agreed.
KJ, and personally, before we saw all these new agents come out, that was like my favorite agent to ever watch because of the coverage that you get with the nanoswarms, with the bots, as well as with that lockdown. But again, for Cumberland, the big shakeup is going to be that KO. KO brings so much versatility on the attacking side, and we know how quick Cumberland like to aggress. This composition is going to be built for moving forward as quickly as possible. If they don't, I will be a little bit worried, and especially with TAM you have drafted, they are also going to be very excited for if a team wishes to rush into them.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle of the rushdown or a duel of the rushdown, and of course these players just taking as long as humanly possible to actually lock in the agents they're going to be playing. Joba does go for the lock-in finally, and TAMU bringing out quite the fascinating composition, one to be mirrored by that, well not mirrored, but matched in equivalent there of Cumberland themselves. A lot of familiar faces, but it'll forever be interesting to me that we're seeing the double Astra because FSAL plays Viper and Omen as well, so well, all viable agents, but you can only pick one of them. I think Astra is the right pick at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, having the Cosmic Divide as well. You can cut up mid, you can cut up A, you can cut up B. Like there's so many options with the stars, with the wells as well. You can get pretty chaotic with it. So I do love the fact that Astra has made a resurgence as of late. Well, I wouldn't even say resurgence for the past couple months, even into the year. It's been very comfortable agent to go ahead and select, and we're seeing that versatility, that viability, the variety that comes out here. So as we get a very nice flyover, once again, I want to remind you here at the CECC South Regional Qualifier, it's been an amazing time. A lot of teams that have shown up, and a lot of upsets that have occurred as well.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if you want to see more, make sure to keep track of all the socials as well, and keep eyes on where the next qualifiers are going to be, and see if some other teams are also making their way in.
These qualifiers are always full of upsets. My personal favorite, the Last Chance qualifier, will be coming up pretty darn soon here, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited to see which teams are going to be able to make their way to that matchup. KHS gets a lot of information early. I cannot believe they lived that even with the recall. Aussie Frosty, first elimination onto Shooter here, and that Astra, a lot of HP dealt on Cumberland's side, all the same. 0.9 goes out. Aussie Frosty able to dodge some damage, but still catches a couple of blows to the back of the body. TamU, going to be a 3-3. Aussie Frosty finds FSOW. Oh my goodness. Shot for shot here. TamU trying to clean up, and they're going to be able to do so. Pistol round in their favor. They're still feeling that heat from Haven. They're coming in hot here on Pearl.
Here's the thing. That's really bad, in my opinion, for Cumberland. Not because it's a round loss. That always feels bad. Aussie Frosty is already 3 out of 8. I will always feel if a good Tejo gets rolling,
they're almost impossible to
out
stop.
of this world. Yeah, like,
Yep.
This is great for Aussie Frosty to start out. You get an early ult at, what, round 3 if you continue. Well, I wouldn't say round 3. That's being a little bit gracious there. But if by round 4 you already have the ult rolling, it's chaotic. It's very difficult. And granted, on attack, I feel it does better. But even on defense, when a lot of the annihilation, some of those rockets go out, you're in for trouble. So for Cumberland, you want to win this round. You want to get a little bit messy with it. If you can find Joba even. But those trips, those stars, they're all going to be playing against you.
Everybody trying to rewrite the textbook here as plan A really did not work out well. Do we approach up through mid and maybe go back toward that B site with a minute left on the clock? You know, you've got plenty of time to make these choices. You know you have the weapons disadvantage as well, so you got to try to catch one of these players off guard, but I think TamU is such high alert. Map number 1 so much closer than they wanted it to be. Bing Chilling gets a decent read on the corner, sees 2. Has the intel. This could be an actual hit toward A. Gets the star up. Back into the A site. Spectre in hand. Locks in through mid. And yeah, a lot of noise being made. A. Rotation's likely. Ooh.
Joba with a great shot as well. So this catch over there in the mid actually kind of allows an access point. So J-Phone is actually going to step up, try and kind of catch another, but that's the eyes, and I love this call.
Oh,
there are
nice.
the vines to go out. Joba, as we mentioned, being able to kind of cut off easy access, that B side is completely non-negotiable. Now you're forced into a position where tight corridors are going to be against your favor. Nabber goes ahead and throws down a little bit of a mark, and the Haunt says, okay, no worries there. This is going to be an entry in, but Being Chilling was ready.
Oh.
Again, Aussie Frosty,
Running out
though,
of
with the
time.
shots looks too good, and you are rolling through this round. You look in the corner, hard spray, easy pickup. KHS even grabs a freebie, and TamU with a flawless round 2.
And it's funny, Orbital, you know, just a minute ago, you said, no, you know, by round 3 feels really generous. 6 out of 8, man. It's I mean, it's not impossible. We see this Tejo Ultimate make an appearance here in round 3, assuming Austin can continue to find the 2 kills they have every round so far. It was 3, and then it was 2. If they do it again, that Ultimate is online for the rest of this round. I think they're going to hold it likely, but the point being made that, as you said, when Tejo gets started, near impossible to stop. It's like jumping in front of a freight train here, and I think Aussie Frosty loves that exact type of play style. Wants to get hyper-aggressive, wants to get dominant, and Tejo just lends himself so nicely to that exact style of play.
Oh, what a catch,
Oh.
though. But that was a look and a half. Joba, though, is able to find Shooter yet again. And Shooter, we have to be honest, has had a very rough start to game 1. Even into game 2 here, has not had that impact that we were really hoping after watching their semifinals performance. I mean, topped the charts, I believe, in both games that they played. And it hurts to see, and I'm hoping that they're able to step up again. Granted, this is not a round that you're very excited about, or maybe you are because you do have the guns available. Nabber, though, if you look right, you might be able to see some freedom there, but J-Phone was ready and finds Nabber instead, so TamU down 2 players, and for a few more, Joba in the back. This is not going to be a great spot to be in, so Cumberland take advantage, but Aussie Frosty got another!
I mean, oh my goodness, half HP on FSOW. This is very close to being a 2v2. Bing Chilling cannot overextend, though. If they do not check this corner, they're going to get a bullet to the brain here. A lot of utility out. Bing Chilling able to tie things up 2-2. Austin onto another. FSOW goes down. J-Phone has the intel. Somebody heaven, but they themselves may get sent straight down the double swing. I don't think they know they're both there, and they don't. Austin able to find that swing. Third round win for TAMU. The ultimate used already. 2 more in the chamber. A third with the ult defusal. Austin warned about at the very beginning of the very first map, living up to that expectation, playing a beautiful performance thus far. 8-0.
This is one of those moments that you're just like, alright, so one man can carry in Valorant. It kind of feels like that. Granted, that's not the case at all. Give credit to Bing Chilling, give credit to Joba holding it down with the bias that I mentioned before. Bing Chilling at 4-2 and 2. The stars have aligned for them, it feels like.
Yeah.
Well, man, Aussie Frosty just stepping up, and I'll always say if you have one player that steps up in Valorant, that's all you really need to kind of unleash the potential of the rest of the team. When you know one player is like popping off,
yeah,
it feels great. And going into this next one, TAMU, they know they have the weapons advantage. Granted, Cumberland can get a little bit spicy with this rush on the Stingers. I still don't, or the Spectres and such. I don't foresee this going extremely well. Going up first if you run into it.
Good read on the corner there. Does not have the rifle out. It is going to matter. Shooter able to find one, but Austin does get the trade. It's going to be a double angle approach here on the A side, forcing Austin into backside. KHS with that outlaw, though. I believe the first outlaw elimination we've seen this series so far. Not the first time we've seen it bought, just the first time we've seen it do something. Big goes out. Austin up and through. JP able to find that pick. It ties things up. Big Chilling does separate the team once more. 2-1. 1-1. Both players desperate to find the pick. Not looking the right way, but Joba finds it 1-1 into 1-0. TAMU 4-0 on the board for Pearl.
Are we sure Cumberland picked this map?
Dude,
are we sure Cumberland picked this map? Are you sure you're reading that right? I don't believe you. Because TAMU are
See you pick
more
Pearl. That's the message I have in my DMs right now. See you pick Pearl.
TAMU look immaculate right now. It feels like after game 1, they have gained so much confidence. They've been on such a roll. Now, granted, that round, yes, it went messy. You weren't supposed to lose as many members. We talked about this before. But 4 rounds in a row is amazing. If they can carry this on into 5, all of a sudden you get a great lead, and that felt bad on that fade. That did not get as much value as you wanted.
It's nothing. I think, you know, the golden number obviously is 13, right? But in the first half, you want to shoot for at least 6. That's the number you're aiming for because that guarantees you will not be going into the second half in a deficit. And right now, TAMU, 4 rounds in, already 2 shy of that 6. I mean, they're likely going to have a lead going into the second half if they can keep up this level of play. The issue is to play at this level, you're on all thrusters a go. You're going absolute full throttle energy. Now, Nabber gets 1. It's actually going to be traded in favor of nobody as Joba equalizes it out again. Bing Chilling, just a hair. I mean, a millisecond too low, but it makes the difference at the end of it, and they're not able to get that pick on a KO. I think this is going to be a B-side hit. I think A-side's made a little bit too much noise, and they're going to go low and slow back into the B.
Well, they can, but of course, they're going to be met with a lot of resistance. Take a look at the utility. Both the Vice and Astra have laid down a lot over there on that B-side, so they can at least slow down the engagement. Already, you see a star go down, and FSAL is like, okay, that's annoying enough. But I think a slow walk in. So this is going to be FSAL just kind of waiting things out. Tries to set a star of their own forward, and the counter actually have multiple punches. So investing a lot, but there it is. The trips are going to slow them down a little bit. Wall zones them out, which is going to give plenty of time for not only an entry back in by TAMU, but a lurk. Take a look at that advantage.
That's a great nade
on the lobby side.
That's a great nade. That guarantees spike plant almost for free. They're not going to be able to get in there. 8 seconds left. The spike is down. I don't think anybody's aware that Joba's going to be coming in from this back line here. J-Phone gets a bit of a read. Just stunned on site. 36 HP and holding a front angle like this. A dominant posture on the board. KHS gets taken down. It's going to be a double kill. FSAL left. Loves to clutch out, but just can't find it. Bing Chilling on the Astra with the help of Joba on Vise. 5-0 for TAMU. Only 8 rounds to go, and this map is theirs.
The confidence value of being able to pull off a 3 entry is wild. By the way, that is, I feel like normally, and granted it's B-side, so yeah, having 2 enter from the small quarters isn't great, but to be able to wait and even then losing out on one of your players is devastating. So the fact that TAMU still kept it very cool, very calm, very collected, washed through the last 2, and then 3rd at the end, amazing job. And this is what I was mentioning before. TAMU back in game 1 did not care for timeouts. They did not care at all. They didn't worry about it. Cumberland using it at round 6 shows that they are under a lot of stress, and I would be too if I was 5-0 right now in map.
5-0 on map 2. You know, this is often where I bring a timeout to the table, is a 4 or 5 round streak, and that's 5, so I think this makes a lot of sense. Now, this is an interesting time to time out, and I'm sure somebody that is a little better at this game could explain why, but you don't really have the economy to put your whole heart into this upcoming round, so it's a tough time to make a timeout because you have to go into the deficit regardless of whether or not you time out. And I get it's probably to slow down the momentum of TAMU. I do think that part makes sense, but I think timeouting, whatever you sense to me.
I mean, I would agree, but there are some points where you just kind of have to sit there.
You just gotta, right? Yeah.
We need a mental reset before things go boom. And there is a sweet spot, I will agree. Like, yeah, you want guns in hand, but they're so far behind in 5 rounds that you can actually buy up a significant chunk. You can see here, there's a Guardian, there's a Vandal, there's a couple Spectre. Like, they have guns. It's not impossible. But is it a bargain bin? Absolutely. You got regen shields online. It's like, you're working with whatever you can pick up here. And for TMU, once again, play this one nice and slow, and this time you have a very deep pocket for the Yoru. Take a look at that. Yoru all the way in the B side hallway, and then Vi's holding it down, but the mid is actually where it's going to be pushed.
You know, it's what I love to call a Franken buy, right? You know, it's like you've got a rifle on the board, but you're really stitching together the rest of it. At a time like this, you've just got to bring every rifle you can to the table. 5-0 on the board. If Cumberland loses this one, TAMU has a guaranteed tie going into the second half if they lose every single round in the rest of the first. And that just makes you feel so much more comfortable, so much more confident at a time like this. You know, map 1 was close, but TAMU really trying to make sure that map 2 isn't. Everybody's afraid to be somebody, man.
I know. they're all like, please don't, please don't. This is going to be a problem. But again, with the nice pacing, I think Cumberland are going to go for this hard push once again. To have time, and yes, there's the ulti, and K find JP in the long run. Again, this long hallway is the pinch. Joba with a perfect position. The garden will reap its rewards in TAMU. They say, great, there's only 2 left, and we know exactly where they're at. Spike down, Shotty's out, bring the pain. Rockin' 1, leaves it open, Bing chilling, closes it out. 6 in a row for TAMU.
They don't need a cipher in a moment like that to know exactly where you are. A beautiful power. No disrespect to our in-house Vice player. They've done a great job on every edge. We had anything but Vice here, Joba. I mean, it is the playstyle immaculate, the game awareness, the utility usage. I mean, it is impressive through and through and through. I've got to tip my hat to Vice, one of the newer agents in the game. I think a harder one to play well, but Joba is doing a great job on it thus far.
I mean, the timing is amazing. And at this point, it's been red. Yeah, you're always going to run into Vi's over there on the B side. We can't really answer. But here's the problem. You go over to the A side, and guess what Asti Frosty has in pocket? Their second ultimate of the game already. In too fast. If things go wrong, you're in trouble, and it's all over. I love the teleport setup, by the way. They're able to rotate the immediately. So, hey, you had that chance. But this is a full-on frontal assault by Cumberland. They're saying, hey, we got to get all 5. We don't really have a choice, but you know a star's down.
The A-side push somewhat read by TAMU. Here we see 4 players at the ready. Lockdown comes through. I like that a lot. It's gonna force a push. The Tejo ultimate in response, though, a bit of an airstrike through a long. No eliminations off the back of it, but the lockdown will get destroyed by it. An ult for an ult, I think that makes a lot of sense. A very fair trade brought to the table here. And as the Nightmare comes out, this could be huge for Cumberland. You're going to get a lot of free information off of that, but the utility rifle it out.
Site and said, okay, we can't really chance it. You're going to try and split 3-2 here into the B side, but this is going to be available. An extra, so you're going to be a solo out. Allow the likes of KHS to do a little bit of work on the top side as well, or the bot side. Side 1 finds the body. A shooter can do nothing. Joba's just waiting. Joba hasn't shown themselves, and now you get the dimensional drift, and you play it perfectly. This is going to be a flawless round. The wall goes down, and eyes out and available. Asti Frosty able to take advantage, and TAMU are glorious at 7-0.
TAMU a guaranteed lead going into the second half. From the squad. Credit where credit is all 2 players at 10 elims already, and it feels like TAMU, they're just playing the agents they're supposed to be. I'm not surprised to see Cumberland with that second timeout. It's a 7-0 loss. They're not able to find the advantages they've been looking for. They're not able to pick up the spacing they've been wanting to find, and I think it makes a lot of sense. They've got to slow down. If it's not about the physical, it's got to be about the mental right now, and they're just trying to make work what they're going to be able to.
What do they have left? For this half, what do they have left, quite honestly? I'm sitting there going...
A Blade Storm? Null Command?
Yeah.
Listen. 7-0 is tough, but 7-5 is not the end of the world. It's
True.
a tough
Okay,
start,
okay.
but if they're going to be able to find their way back into this, I think it's very likely winning this round will be the beginning of it. Now, we do unfortunately return to my previous point of you've paused on a round where you have no economy, which, again, that might just be somebody who's better than me at this game thing. Like, maybe there's something to that I'm not understanding. I'm not afraid to admit that, but I do think that Cumberland going into this round, they understand the importance and the pivotal nature of winning this round, because if TAMU goes up to 8, that's where things really begin to get difficult. So I'm hoping that TAMU is going to be able to put down some footing here, maybe give Cumberland an opportunity to strike, and if they do, well, then Cumberland may be able to slowly inch this back. But if TAMU can keep up this winning streak, this is going to be a very tough hill to climb.
I think they talked about it before. I always love the fact that there are some teams that actually love to just like kind of toss around out there, get all their aggression out, and then kind of mental reset. Is this one of those? I don't think so. As Knives goes out, Shooter just runs the front end, and SL is able to follow up behind. And again, just hard bluster. I love this call. We haven't seen this out of them just yet. And Shooter is on one right now. Reset and reset again. And that's going to be the brutal answer that they have found. Hard rush, catch TAMU by surprise, and it's yielded a result.
I mean, that's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I said. Weapons, they need to use the ult, they need to get that Blade Storm, they need to get in and go crazy with it. They're able to do so off the back of Shooter, a phenomenal performance, no stranger to acing here in this series alone. It's not impossible for TAMU to clutch this back, but by golly, is it difficult, especially now there's only one player left. Nabber on the side gets taken down by Shooter with a thrifty round win, up and running. Cumberland finally on the board.
It took what? Just a hard rush, brains off, all micro skill right there. That is exactly what they needed. TAMU surprised, but not blown out of the water. After a timeout, I always feel like you are going to get some sort of shenanigans, and that was the answer. Here's the difference. They have guns. Cumberland, we know, fights so much better with a heavier gun advantage, and you actually bring out the op in hand. So Shooter's going to try and match the likelihood of KHS around the map, and maybe they look for an A-side hit once again. 1-4 position. Is it going to work?
They're starting to learn that maybe hyper-aggression is the name of the game. The swing goes out, the bullet to the brain. KHS just a little too in on that line of sight. Gets taken down by Shooter. Finally coming back to life, but hey, better late than never. 7-5, nothing to be ashamed of if they're going to be able to do it. But it's going to be a tough hill ahead of them. The odds of TAMU losing every single round from here on out, not something I expect to see. No command from Cumberland.
Yeah, that's an investment and a half. Nabber getting slowly chunked out, but the blind doesn't actually work. So yeah, you weren't expecting a Nabber being chilling, mow through them like that. No command is still active, so maybe you can go pick him up. That's the chance, but JP was able to follow up behind. Swaps out guns, only a few bullets, but Bing Chilling said no, not a chance. Knocks out Shooter and Waldy, and both are gone. JP tries to step up, but Aussie Frosty gets the final kill, and Bing Chilling picks up the congratulatory second. 8-1 as TAMU continue.
We got the one on the board, a valuable play through and through for TAMU, but Cumberland, unfortunately, they get taken down on an off angle there. I feel like Shooter just a little bit ahead of the rest of the team at a time they really needed to not be, but I do think it's okay. A win is a win. TAMU is able to find it. Cumberland still alive in the water. We've got 3 rounds left here in this first half. I'm not even ready to count out an 8-4 if we can get that high.
I'm just terrified either way. This is chaotic to say the least. TAMU have been able to rip back an advantage. And Jobo with the stars swings again. And remember, in map 1, they did the same thing and found, what was it, like 2-3 lucky kills.
Yeah, somewhere between 2 and 3. The jury's still out on that, but
I know. But either way, it's still amazing that they were able to pull that off. But it's put a little bit of a lodge in there. But again, this rush, Cumberland have actively said, screw waiting. We are going to rush as fast as we can, possibly. But JP was able to find an advantage in a 1v1 over there in mid. So huge opportunity. They wish to rotate it back out.
Oh, KHS down again. The op just not hitting the shots it used to in those earlier rounds. Now 5-3. The advantage absent. Confident and against. My friend, can you find 3 more? Divide presence has been picked up. Bing finds 1. Austin. Bing. Oh!
Oh?
No, dog. Yep, go for the reload.
Oh my god! No! That is illegal!
No!
What is
No!
this? Being chilling! There is no chill in your name!
I mean, well done. Listen,
FF,
I mean,
I don't
well
care.
done.
Listen, I'm so done with this. FF, whatever goes down. You are so done if Bing is allowed to pull that.
Yeah, that's big. I mean, that is the second Astra ace we've seen, but the first from TAMU at all. A beautiful performance through and through on every side, but it is going to be TAMU 17-4. Bing has over double the amount of elims than anybody else on the opposing team. A beautiful performance thus far. One more round to be double digits in the first half. That's nigh impossible to come back from.
He weapon swapped twice to his pistol, dropped his gun again.
3 times if you count going back to the empty Vandal before dropping.
No, I'm so done with that. At this point, if TAMU don't win this game, I'm going to be done. Naber says, no, don't worry, we'll trade out. AHS makes up for huge ground. Naber finds another, and it seems the wind is out of the sails of Cumberland as they are knocked down yet again. TAMU only need 1 more to close out for 10 rounds total, and there it is, 10-1 double digits here in map 2.
A beautiful performance, truly, utterly, and completely. I mean, this has been a masterclass from TAMU here on Pearl. I'm surprised they weren't playing it earlier. I'm surprised they chose to kind of keep their hand close to their chest on this. This is a map they clearly know well. They've been executing flawlessly. And it's not even that Cumberland's making critical mistakes. It's just that TAMU is playing this so textbook, so impressively, that it's actually ending up biting Cumberland because TAMU is playing this essentially with their eyes closed. This is a beautiful performance through and through from this team thus far, and I think as we switch halves, if Cumberland doesn't win this pistol round, I'm ready to call it over.
I would be as well. Honestly, like Joba with a running shot on J-Phone. That is... that was rude. That
You should run.
Sentinels, what's going on, man? Like, this is turning into...
TAMU's just confident. We've seen the playstyle. We saw the Yoru with the Operator. We see the wide swing into the front line. We see the ultimates come out at the beginning of a round. This is a team that knows confidence. Aussie Frosty able to find a shooter. It's going to be a 4-3, 4-2. As we see TAMU just feeling confident. Austin clearly comfortable on this Tejo. I'm not sure why he was ever playing anything else. It is a beautiful performance through and through. And TAMU, they're comfortable. They're confident. They know it. They know they've broken Cumberland's mental. It's going to be hard to break through if you are Cumberland. We've all been here before. It's not fun. It's not easy. But TAMU knows that, and they're not afraid to take advantage of that vulnerability.
Absolutely not. You take all the advantages. F-Sal is just like, yeah, I felt that on my back, but I can't really do anything else about it. Cumberland, they're going to do what they can here, but again, for TAMU, it's all or nothing in this half, and it feels oh so good. F-Sal steps out, shots out. That's actually wins, but Joba still finds that Joba is on one right now. Naber helps out, and that will be the round 11-1 TAMU. 2 more rounds for the championship here.
2 more rounds for the championship. It's a terrifying consideration, but the sides have at least finally swapped, so momentum fully on the side of the team that chooses to wield it. If they're going to be able to find an advantage in a scenario like this, it could end well, but if Cumberland loses this pistol round, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to claw things back. Every team that we've seen today has followed the expectation. If you win the pistol round, you win the second round, which means TAMU wins this pistol round, they win the second round, and the map, the series is over. If Cumberland wants to make an appearance and they want to make a return, this is their last opportunity to do so.
They have to make a massive run.
It's not impossible. I've seen worse, you know?
It's
it's not the end of the
I
world.
know
but...
it's not acceptable. You are so optimistic, and I love you for it. Shooter is as well.
See?
As chaos erupts, and Shooter takes a 3K out of nowhere and somehow makes me look silly.
Listen, everybody down my boys.
Done.
Everybody down my boys, never down my boys. Listen, ever. They've got this on lock. They've got this understood. I mean, this is a Cumberland opportunity. This game, as any, is not over until it is over. I live, breathe, and die by that belief system. I always have and I always will. Until it's a 13-something, Cumberland can bring this back. I saw a team win bind 14-12 After going into the second half 12-0, that is a true story. Ever since that day, I have believed that anything is possible. And Cumberland, they are not ready to count themselves out quite yet, and I'm right there with them. Now it's going to be iPhone going down, J-Phone, not iPhone, that's a different thing. F-Sal falls as well. TAMU winning this pistol round, it could be over.
Oh my god.
They're both hurt though.
They-
It's not over.
It's not. But Tim, you were also like, yeah, it wasn't over for us either. Shooter opened up with a 3K, and now we're down to a 2v1. And JP is like, where'd my advantage go, guys? Where did all this go? We are looking at a very, very tough round, and this one will unfortunately be a mixed bag of reactions. JP, whether or not you find these two, it's going to be a test. You can see a little bit of that wiring step out, and shots ring out. Joba with the 3K, and TAMU on series point.
TAMU series point in the pocket here. This is going to be the now or never scenario. They don't have the rifles. I'm sure the mental is shattered. They know that TAMU has the weapons advantage, but each round is yours to make your own, and I believe they can do so if they play it low and slow. They're on the defense. TAMU has to rush into them. They might as well just sit back and let that happen. Try to get the picks they can afterward. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple more shotguns in the pocket, but if they feel more comfortable on the Sheriffs, well, more power to them.
I can agree with that one. Swing what you can, and you hope that you land some hits. Shooter coming alive at the last moment might bring some, but you shot at the wrong time, and KHS takes full advantage, rushes, picks up the Bulldog that you picked off of Shooter, and you get the snap back and are safe. The reality of the situation is that TAM, you are a man up, and are going to play as such, as now mid is going to be chance. Hard shots trying to find F-Sal, but TAM, you now going to rush into the A site. This is currently empty, so they can make it on the site. This could be big.
The opportunity to strike for TAMU is not far away. They have the weapons advantage. They have the round advantage. They have the man advantage. They're about to have the site in their favor if they choose to rush into A, but the rotation coming in from Cumberland does equal the numbers. Patience is, I mean, it is absurd how patient they're willing to be. Fake goes out, Wadi finds one, F-Sal, they both give their lives for one. They have 32 on the board. Big Silly finds one. There's only one player left to go, and they find it. Jay Bowen falls. They take the Elam out of the way, and TAMU with a 13-1 victory on Pearl. Wrap up this series in the blink of an eye.
I would just like to point out, it was 0.5 second difference between us going to a 15th round or that game ending right there. That was how hard of a rush Cumberland went, and I wholeheartedly respect the idea that Cumberland could have made it back. We saw glimmers in there, but I don't know what TAMU had. It felt like the double ace in game one lit a fire beyond anything else, and they ran the show here. This was immaculate work, and anyone watching this team in the future has to sit there and go, holy crap, we can't let them get on a roll of any sort.
Yeah, without a doubt. TAMU, they come in strong, they finish strong, and they dominate there on map number 2. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to say this, I don't want to go crazy, but I believe TAMU has just punched their ticket to CECC, if I'm not mistaken.
Sir.
That is their guaranteed ticket opportunity to join us down in Arlington, Texas this upcoming May. Very exciting. A big congratulations, TAMU. We'll be excited to see you guys out there. I believe not even close to their first rodeo there at this point, but that does bring this rodeo to a close, my friends. The LCQ, the last chance qualifier, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. That's for every team that has been in any qualifier we've had so far that didn't win. If you want a second chance at opportunity, you want a second chance at greatness, the LCQ signups are open for another week. So go ahead and get those signups in. The College Street Fighter Playoff Stage 2 starts this Thursday. I won't be on the desk or casting, but I will be watching because my love for Street Fighter is rapidly growing. I think it is very fun. It's a great time to watch. And of course, guys, keep an eye on the Esports U socials, as we could not do what we do without each and every single one of you. So please follow the Twitch here, follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram, follow all social media we may have. And of course, thank you all for watching. It's been a blast. Super excited that Orbital and I had the chance to be back, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys again in the future. We love each and every one of you. Check your posture, drink some water. Don't forget to love each other, and we'll see you guys next time.